You've been there, right? You click a link, you're looking for a story, but what you get instead is just chaos. It's something we all deal with online. So in this explainer, we're going to take one really messy piece of digital content and break it down step by step to show you how to find the real story hiding in all that noise. And it starts immediately. Before you even see a single word of the article, bam, you hit a wall, a security check. It's like you're not a reader, you're a suspect. This is the very first layer of what we call digital friction, all these little hurdles that get between you and the information you actually want. Okay, so you pass the security test. What's next? Of course, the cookie banner. Do you accept? Do you deny? Do you try to figure out the custom settings? Before you've even read a headline, you're already making choices about your data. And once you finally get through all that, you can barely see the thing you came for. It is just buried under pop-ups and banners and all these demands to subscribe or sign up. They're all screaming for your attention and, frankly, for your money. So that brings us to the big question, right? After you fought your way through all of these digital obstacles, how do you find the actual story? How do we take this absolute mess and turn it into something that actually makes sense? Here's our game plan. We're going to start by sifting through what I'm calling the digital haystack. Then we'll find the main stories. After that, we'll uncover a really surprising hidden theme. And then we'll explore how you could turn this one source into 3 totally different YouTube videos. Finally, we'll wrap up with what it all means for you. All right, first things first, we have to get a handle on what we're actually looking at here. Because this isn't just a simple news article. No, it's a whole ecosystem of information, and it's all fighting for the same space on your screen. So let's just break down the chaos. You've got all the technical stuff, the warnings and cookies, but then you've got local Atlanta news right next to massive international crises. You have sponsored ads for hotels mixed in with reviews about TV shows, and of course, more pleas for donations. It is a complete grab bag of unrelated stuff. So our next job is to put on our editor hat. With all this noise happening, what are the most urgent, most important pieces of information here? Which headlines are really trying to grab you by the collar? And right away, we see 2 heavy hitters. On one side, you have a domestic crisis, federal agents being sent to the Atlanta airport. That's a story that has an immediate local impact. But on the other side, you've got this huge global crisis, a war in Iran that's making gas prices spike over $100 a barrel. These are 2 enormous, competing stories right at the top. But sometimes the most important piece of the puzzle isn't in the big, bold headline. Sometimes it's just a small detail hiding in plain sight, a detail that can change absolutely everything you think you're reading. And in our source material, there is one tiny little clue that is so easy to miss. You could just scroll right past it. But this one little detail, well, it's the key that unlocks this entire thing. March 23rd, 2026? Wait, what? 2026? This changes everything. This isn't a news report from today. It's speculative fiction. It's a newsletter from the near future. And just like that, every single story in here gets a new frame. It's not reporting, it's a prediction of what our world might look like. I mean, think about this quote, a deadly crash at a major airport. And it's mentioned with the same casual tone you'd use for a traffic update. This isn't just news from the future. It's a peek into a world where huge crises have become, well, kind of normal. So now that we know we're looking at a dispatch from 2026, we can start to see how this single document could be used to tell completely different stories. So let's do it. Let's put on our YouTube creator hats. How could we spin this one newsletter into 3 totally different videos? Okay, video pitch number 1. We'd go for the high-stakes geopolitical thriller. We would frame this as a really dire warning, a look at a world teetering on the edge of collapse. For this one, we'd pull out all the international crisis stuff, the war, the missile strikes, the threats from world leaders, the economic disaster. If you focus only on these details, you create a story that's all about global tension and, imminent danger. But what if we just ignored all of that? For our second video, we'd zoom all the way in and only talk about the Atlanta news. Now the story isn't about global collapse at all. It's about a community just trying to get through the day. School board meetings, crime in a grocery store parking lot, local infrastructure projects, an arts program. The whole vibe is completely different, right? This version tells a story about everyday life just chugging along, maybe in denial, maybe just resilient, while the world stage is on fire. All right, our third video gets a little weird. This one is a cultural deep dive. We wouldn't focus on the news so much as the sheer strangeness of this future. It would be like opening a time capsule from a 2026 that's both bizarre and surprisingly familiar. I mean, look at these details. BTS is back together, there's a UK version of Saturday Night Live, Bridgerton is on its 4th season, but through it all, Finland is still the happiest country on Earth. This video would be all about that surreal, fascinating contrast. So think about that. 3 totally different videos with 3 totally different tones and stories, and we pulled them all from the exact same source. What this shows us is something really powerful. The story you see isn't just about the facts, it's about the framing. And getting that, that's the key to becoming a much smarter consumer of, well, everything. So here's a little 4-step toolkit you can use. Step 1, learn to separate the message from the medium. Just ignore the pop-ups and get to the core content. Step 2, figure out all the competing stories. What could have been the main headline? Step 3, always hunt for the unexpected detail. That one little thing, like the date, that just flips the whole context. And finally, step 4, this is the most important one, ask yourself, why is this story being framed this way? What's been left out? This is how you go from just consuming info to actually understanding it. And that really leaves us with one final big question. We are all swimming in this giant ocean of information, and someone is always building the life raft, shaping the story that you end up seeing. So the choice is really yours. Are you going to let them build your perspective for you, or are you going to learn how to build your own?